Hey everybody, so it's time for another week of NHL Picks of the Week, and we are back to our normal 5 picks this week, as opposed to last week we had to do 3 because of the short week for the All-Star break. Games ended on Wednesday, but last week, even though I only did 3 picks, it went very well. I was perfect, 3-0 in those 3 picks, so hopefully carrying some momentum over into this week. So for those of you that may be new or don't know, picks of the week, these are videos where I pick 5 games from the upcoming week in the NHL and tell you who I think is going to win. And with the 3-0 week last week, my season record is now at 57-24, which I have to say I am very, very happy with to this point in the year. If you told me at the beginning of the season when I started doing this that I would have more than twice as many wins as losses on my picks this year, I think I would certainly take that every single time. So hopefully we're back to the full 5 picks this week. Hopefully we carry some momentum into this week with these correct picks, and we make the record even better this week. So before we get into it, I just quickly want to remind everyone to hit that like button and give this video a thumbs up. That really does help out the channel. And if you are new, to please subscribe and follow along for all my hockey content this year and all for the coming years as well. So let's get into it here. Full 5 picks this week. Starting on, I got a couple of games picked for Wednesday. This is a weird week in the NHL. There aren't that many great matchups. There's a lot of cross conference play, and some of the nights have only a couple games. Some of the nights have a lot of games. It's an interesting week coming back from the All-Star break. But on Wednesday, I've got 2 games picked. One, Arizona over the Anaheim Ducks. Anaheim, obviously, one of the worst teams in the Western Conference this year. Arizona, they're one of those teams at 57 points in the Pacific, in a playoff spot right now, fighting for that division lead with, pretty much the other top 5 teams in that division. So, big game there for Arizona. I think they need to win games like that against lower opponents, and I'm taking the Coyotes over the Anaheim Ducks. Also that night, I have the Tampa Bay Lightning over the LA Kings. Again, LA, one of the worst teams in the Pacific, one of the worst teams in the West, actually the worst team in the West. LA has really, really struggled this year, as expected. And Tampa Bay's come on strong here the last couple of months. They had a kind of a shaky start to the season, but they've come on really, really strong here the last couple of months. So I think Tampa's looking like Tampa again, and they should easily blow through an opponent like the LA Kings. Friday, January 31st, last day of January. Also, we have the Battle of Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh versus Philadelphia. I am going with the Pittsburgh Penguins at home in that game over the Philadelphia Flyers. They played last week in Philadelphia, and it was a very unexpected result in my mind. Pittsburgh got shut out by the Flyers, 3-0. I do not see that happening again. I think Pittsburgh gets the job done on home ice against their arch rival Philadelphia, and I think the Penguins come away with a win in that game. And finally, Saturday, February 1st, I got a couple more games picked there. I have Toronto over the Ottawa Senators. Toronto fighting for their playoff lives at this point, currently outside of a playoff spot behind Florida in the Atlantic Division. I think they and Florida are going to be battling for that final spot the entire rest of the regular season. It might come down to the final week, depending on how close they stay. But Toronto, if they're going to pull back into a playoff spot, they have got to beat teams like Ottawa, who are clearly one of the bottom teams in the league, so a team that Toronto should be beating. And that's just, Toronto has to win that game. And they have to win those types of games all the rest of the way if they're going to pull themselves back into a playoff spot. And my final pick, I'm going with Arizona again over the Chicago Blackhawks. Again, Arizona is in a very, very tight race right now. I do like them to be one of the top 3 teams in the Pacific. I really do like what I've seen from the Coyotes this year. And again, they're playing a lesser opponent in the Chicago Blackhawks, a team below them in the standings, a team that's a non-playoff team right now. I just think those are games that Arizona's got to win if they want to keep pace in the Pacific, and I think they're going to do that. So Those are my picks for this week. I've got Arizona over Anaheim and Tampa Bay over LA on Wednesday. I have Pittsburgh over Philadelphia on Friday, and I have Toronto over Ottawa and Arizona over Chicago on Saturday. So hopefully we have another good week with picks. Last week was fantastic. On the short week for the All-Star break, we're back to a full slate of games this week, and those are my picks, so we'll see how I do. Hopefully we keep improving the record here. So with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, links to our Patreon and merchandise store down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.